In today's training, I'm going to be walking you through how to build a plan in Voyant Global. I'll also be walking you through how to build out a custom tax regime in the system, both for the subscription globally and on a per client basis. If you have access to the subscription owner or manager features, you're going to see this configuration option up here at the top. And in here is where you would add in the tax regimes that you can use for clients again and again. I'm going to show you how to do this really quickly. So we're going to go to tax regimes. In here you can see all of the ones that I've already created. So those are the ones that are going to be available to myself and any of the subscription users to select from. I also want to add in a new one, and to do that I'm going to go to my plus button here in the bottom right hand screen, and then I'm going to give this regime a name. So this is going to be my New Zealand tax regime. We're going to select the New Zealand dollar from the currency drop down, and in order to do that you would just look for it in alphabetical order. And then I'm going to add in the thresholds that I need in order to build out their tax brackets. So I need 5 of them, so I'm going to go ahead and pre-add those really quickly. You'll notice here that we're asking for the lower threshold, so that's going to be important when you're building out the tax regime, that you use the lower threshold amount in this section. For example, in this one, I'm going to add to 10.5%. The next one is going to be 15,601, and that is going to be taxed at 17.5%. My next threshold is 53,501. That I want taxed at 30%. Next one is 78,101. I want that taxation set at 33%. And then the next one is going to be 180 and up. So anything $180,000 or more is going to be taxed at 39%. And you can see the thresholds visually down here in this bar. So anything between 0 and 15.6K is going to be taxed at 10.5%, and then you can go through here and just verify your thresholds are in there correctly. The next thing you want to do is just let the system know how these 3 items here are taxed within that jurisdiction. So on capital gains, I want those to generally be tax-free. So I'm going to just add in a $1 bracket with a 0% rate. So anything over $1 gets taxed at 0%. And then for my dividends, I want to add in a taxation rate of 33%. So I want the dividends in this plan to be taxed at 33%, anything over $1. And then I want to keep my interest taxed as income in this. On threshold escalation, this is a field that you have the ability to factor in some future escalation on these tax brackets if you want. So if you were to enter 2% here, for example, that would in your plan each year escalate these thresholds by 2% in the plan. In this example, I'm going to keep that at 0. I just want the taxes to reflect this in all years of the plan, and then I can go in annually and update it as needed. I'm going to leave the tax filing status as individual, and I'm going to click Done to save. And you'll now see the New Zealand option is here in my regimes found. So now that I've done that, I can find that tax regime anytime I go to add a client. Add a client, you're going to hit Create Client from the plus button in the bottom right hand corner. And then I'm going to give this client a name. Put in their birth year. Select a plan start year. You can adjust this to reflect however you'd like to do your planning. However, just keep in mind that Voyant does work in full planning years. So if you start the plan year on January 1st, 2026, year 2 in your plan will start January 1st, 2027. I need to define whether or not Johnny is already retired, and if not, when he expects to retire. This can be adjusted later if needed, but I'm going to leave it at 65. Clicking Next. You can either from the drop down here select the pre-built tax regimes that we have already in the system, or you can do the same thing we did just a minute ago in this screen and create a whole new regime on a per client basis. I'm going to click Next. And that's now loaded Johnny with the New Zealand tax regime and currency. You can see New Zealand dollars right here. And if you want to review the tax regime or ever make any adjustments, you would just go right here to do so, this tax regimes section. I want to go ahead and finish the initial adding of this client by adding the rest of his family. So I'm going to go to my plus button here in the bottom right hand corner. This is where you'll see all the different items that you can add into this plan. I'll start with people, and I'm going to add in Nora, his spouse, give her a birth year, and then using this little caret option here, we can save and add another, and we're going to add in their son, Timmy, and give him a birth year as well, and then we're going to click done to save. Now that you've added all three people, you can link account types to their names, and if you want to review who's in the plan or make any adjustments, you would just select this people section here, and you can always open up a client and make adjustments from there. Thank you for listening. I hope this was helpful. Please remember, if you ever need any assistance creating a plan, you can always click the name of your client in the top right corner, select request support, send us a message via this text box, and you can share the client with us, or you can email us at support@planwithvoyant.com. Thanks for listening.